Hi, this is Jason Lisk with Full Genius, here with your Week 3 5 most popular NFL Survivor picks. We'll start at number 5. And this week, you get a bonus team because we have a tie for the 5th position, so you get this one for free. We have the Kansas City Chiefs at 5% and the Atlanta Falcons at 5% to start the week. Kansas City 0-2, heading to the New York Giants, also 0-2. Both of these teams lost in heartbreaking fashion on Sunday. The Giants snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, allowing Brandon Aubrey to hit a long tying field goal, and then a Russ interception in overtime. Ended it for the Giants. The Chiefs going against them, a goal line touchdown pass that looked like it was heading to Travis Kelce, went off his hands, intercepted, swung the game in the fourth quarter. Eagles win. So, can the Chiefs get off of the winless streak, their longest of Patrick Mahomes' career? They've lost 3 in a row going back to the Super Bowl. They are a 6-point favorite right now at New York, and they have 5% of the popularity. Atlanta, also a road team, also coming in tied for 5th. The Atlanta Falcons look good at Minnesota. Should have won in week 1 against Tampa and now get the Carolina Panthers, a team who has looked fairly bad for most of 7 quarters and then almost came back to beat the Cardinals from being down 27-9 in the fourth, recovering an onside kick, but ultimately losing in the closing seconds. So Atlanta travels to Carolina as a similar favorite. They are right around 6 points as well. And both of those teams checking in for a tie for 5th. Now, in 4th position, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who host the New York Jets. The Bucs, on the other hand, have had things running quite nicely at the end of games. 2 close wins, 2 come-from-behind wins, and now at 2-0, we'll host the Jets. We have some question marks around the Jets. This spread could move. Justin Fields in concussion protocol. Don't know yet who will be starting for the Jets. So, the Bucs are about a touchdown favorite. They do have some good spots in the future to consider, but also one of those teams to consider this week, coming in 4th in popularity. At number 3, we have the Green Bay Packers, 2-0. Now among your NFC favorites to go to the Super Bowl after beating both Detroit and Washington at home. They now go to the road to Cleveland, a place they rarely play, and get the Browns coming off of their beat down by the Ravens last week. This line is over a touchdown right now, 7.5, and the Packers are drawing about a projected 17% of public pick popularity. So, the Packers, the thing about them is because of how they've played so far, because their power rating has gone up, they do have a lot of great spots. They are up to inside of the top. Let me get the official number here for you. They are now 3rd in our future value rankings, behind the team we're going to talk about coming up, and as well as the Baltimore Ravens from last week. So Green Bay now 3rd, surpassing Philadelphia in our estimate of the most valuable teams to have going forward after this week. So something you have to really think about if you want to use them. They do have a lot of spots where you might want to use them where they're not playing on the road at Cleveland, where they get a team at home and are even bigger favorites. So that brings us to the last 2. These 2 we could see swapping depending on the pool you play in. But overall, we're projecting the Seattle Seahawks to be 2nd at about 23%. The thing with the Seahawks is this is really their one great home matchup this year. The only time we'll probably see them, unless there's major injuries to a team that we don't know about right now, the only time we'll probably see them favored by more than a touchdown as they host the New Orleans Saints at home. Seahawks are coming off that win at Pittsburgh. The Saints lost again in close fashion to the 49ers. The Saints are still expected to be among the worst teams in the NFL. Seattle catches them at home. This is probably the spot you want to use Seattle if you want to use them, and something you got to weigh. Now, that said, they could be super popular, more so than that 23% number in certain pools. We may see them get really steamed up in popularity in what I would call sharper pools, or pools where people pay more attention to the upcoming schedule, future value, especially pools where you got to make a lot of picks. Some pools require more than one pick in a given week later in the year. And so in a lot of those pools, Seattle has more value as a pick and likely will be more popular. And number one, the biggest favorite of the week, the Buffalo Bills coming in. We're projecting them at 26%. They could be higher than that in some smaller pools, in a lot of the local pools, because they are the biggest favorite. But that popularity could also fluctuate because you want to remember with the Bills, they play on Thursday night. If you want to pick them, you have to get your pick in before that Thursday night game. So that could be a factor in where their popularity goes in pools. And also depending on if people want to save them, pick somebody like Seattle. So really think about what your strategy is. The Bills make sense in smaller pools, make sense as, a pick to maybe save in some others. Going to be a big favorite next week against the Saints. Going to be a big favorite in week 5 against the New England Patriots. Going to be a big favorite at several points along this season, maybe at far less popularity. So something to think about with the Bills as you go forward. That is your top 5 most popular. Again, to quickly recap, we have the Buffalo Bills, the Seattle Seahawks, the Green Bay Packers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and a tie with a bonus 6 team for the 5th position, the Atlanta Falcons and the Kansas City Chiefs. Good luck with your Week 3 Survivor picks.